This tutorial will provide detailed instruction on how to apply a vertical I-cord bar in the middle of your work. The embellishment techniques that are employed after the body of the superscript shawl is complete have to be applied in a particular order. Most importantly, the I-cord bars have to be completed before the crochet inlay or the I-cord edging can be applied. Although the body of the shawl was knit from side to side, the I-cord bar will be worked perpendicular to that fabric. While you're knitting the body of your shawl, or cowl, you'll be building the garter stitch ridges that will define your color blocks and provide a designated ridge for your I-cord bar. You can see a completed I-cord bar here. It really stands out in relief from the main fabric. Along the designated garter ridge, you're going to be weaving your needle in along the ridge stitches. This can be described as picking up stitches, but doing so without knitting them. The garter ridge first row stitches present along the ridge as upward arched loops. These are the loops that you're going to be entering through from the top. You can see here that I just continue to weave in, over and down, over and down, over and down, through those top loops. So essentially what I'm doing is weaving my needle in through the first row of the garter ridge. Garter ridges consist of 2 rows. I'm weaving into the stitches that made the first row. So you're just going to continue with this motion all the way up the entire garter ridge. You can see the picked up stitches here, filling up the needle. I'm almost done. When you're approaching the end, you really want to get every possible stitch picked up there that you can, because you want your I-cord bar to go all the way to the top edge, and it's the picked up stitches that determine how far the I-cord bar will be able to go. Once you're done, you're going to pull your needle to the left so that your stitches are sitting on what will operate as the left needle when you begin to work your I-cord bar. With your CC1, you're going to create a slip knot and place that slip knot on the end of your left needle. Then, using the reverse loop method, cast on 2 additional stitches which will give you a total of 3 cast-on stitches. As you create your I-cord bar, you're going to continuously work those first 3 stitches plus 1 stitch from the row of picked up stitches. This first row you're going to knit all 3 stitches, then knit 1 stitch from the row of picked up stitches, here you're going to be passing the previous worked stitch over the last worked stitch. It's a little tight on the first row, but you can wiggle it about a bit to get in there. There you go. So you're going to pass that over, and now those 3 cast-on stitches are attached to your piece. You're going to transfer the stitches from the right needle to the left needle. After working a row, you're always going to transfer your stitches back. For all the next rows that you do all the way to the end, you're going to knit 2 stitches, slip 1 stitch purlwise with the yarn and back, and then knit 1 stitch from the picked up row and pass the slip stitch over the last worked stitch. Then transfer your 3 stitches back to the left needle, always starting with all of your stitches on the left needle. Knit 2 stitches, slip 1 stitch purlwise, knit 1 stitch from the picked up row of stitches, and pass the slip stitch over. Then transfer your stitches back over. You can see here that as you get in a few rows to your I-cord bar, the fabric is going to have a little more give, and you'll be able to transfer those stitches over a little easier, which will definitely help with your speed in completing the I-cord bar. So just continue in this fashion all the way up along that row of picked up stitches. You're very close now to having the entire I-cord bar done. I have 2 stitches left on my left needle from the original picked up stitch row. So I'm just going to work this next row the way I've been going all along. And then we're going to begin wrapping it all up. So you see now I have 1 stitch left on that left needle. Transferring my stitches over for the last row. And now on this row we're going to begin binding off. Knit 1, knit a 2nd stitch, and pass the previous stitch over the last worked stitch. And I'm going to do that same bind off method for the next 2 stitches here. Now only the last stitch remaining. Bind off. Then you just need to cut your working yarn and pull that end into that last stitch all the way through. Give it a tug and you're done. You can see now the finished I-cord bar. The cast on edge and the bind off edge are going to look a little wonky to you. Don't worry about that. When you start doing the I-cord edging around the entire perimeter of your pieces, those messy little edges are going to get wrapped up into it and finished nice and clean. Move right along to tutorial number 3, where you will learn the applied crochet methods. I'll meet you there.